Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are looking at a game where I employed a brand new opening strategy. So I used the opening called Pegasus opening. This is an opening that was actually developed by a YouTuber. I have been following this guy for a while and I really like this opening. So I will drop a link to his channel. I find his content very useful. This is a D4 opening, but it is an unusual opening, and the advantage is that in fact, nobody knows about this opening. This is kind of an obscure opening. So odds are that your opponent has no idea what they are dealing with, and this always helps. So in this particular case, my opponent was totally confused. I bamboozled my opponent and I ended up winning this game quite convincingly. So let's analyze this game and hopefully you will learn a thing or two. Now my rating is around 700. Right now it's 715. So I'm not an expert. I still consider myself a beginner, but my goal is to get to 1000 ELO by the end of the year, and I'm trying new openings. I'm trying to see what works, what does not work, and so far I think Pegasus opening is definitely something that I will be employing a lot more moving forward. Okay, so here is the game. I'm playing white. I have enabled the engine, Stockfish engine. So we will be taking a look at all the recommendations from Stockfish. So the blue line shows the Stockfish recommendation. So the Pegasus opening is a D4 opening, and this knight is called Pegasus knight, and in Pegasus opening we put this knight here. So this is a very unusual place for this knight. Most of the openings will never put this knight here, but the idea is when you put this knight here, it controls these two squares, and that allows us to push, that allows me to push this pawn here. So the C pawn can go here, and if possible we can also push our E pawn here. So that's the goal of Pegasus opening. This video is not a Pegasus opening tutorial, so if you guys are interested in learning the opening, you should check out the Pegasus channel. I will just show my game, and what I'm trying to show here is how awesome this opening is to throw your opponent off. My opponent started with D5, and I usually see this at my ELO level. People try to replicate what you are doing. So when this happens, ideally you should not move the Pegasus knight because it kind of screws up your position. So I followed that principle and I instead moved my kingside knight. This guy got his knight out, and then I moved my Pegasus knight to this location. Now ideally you would want your knight to come here, so this is kind of a weird move, but this helps, and I will show you why this is this putting the knight here is an advantage. We are also looking at the Stockfish recommendation, so that's not my opponent's move. I'm just running the engine to show you what is the best move from Stockfish. So my opponent develops his knight and I push this pawn. The idea is that I want to get this juicer out, and I will get this juicer out after I push this pawn. So that's my idea. Okay, my opponent gets his juicer out, and now I push my pawn out. So now you see the basic theory behind this opening. We have a Pegasus knight controlling this, and we now have a juicer controlling that. So there are two guards for this pawn which will allow me to basically put my pawn here. Now my opponent decides to support his pawn here like this, and I get my queen out. Now the idea of moving this queen here is because this pawn is weak, and that's because this knight moved here and my opponent has put a pawn here, so the knight cannot go back. So nobody is defending this pawn here at b7. So this is the idea here. Now this is actually kind of a trap, because if my opponent makes a mistake, then I can pressurize this knight over here. So my opponent makes this move, and this is a mistake according to Stockfish. Now I clear up the I wanted to clear up the center here, because my ultimate goal was to pin this knight, and that's what Stockfish is also suggesting, and this is one of the lines in Pegasus opening. So I bring my juicer here and I pin this knight. Now my opponent tries to put his queen here, and now the advantage that I have is I can bring this knight here, I can bring this knight here, and I can put more pressure on this knight. So that's what I do. I bring my second knight, so now I have two pieces attacking him, and for some reason my opponent decides to come here. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. And then I bring my queen, and now I bring three pieces. So I'm really going after this knight. And you can see the evaluation bar here. I'm already plus 5.98, so almost 6 points ahead. So as you can see, this opening is fantastic. largely because your opponent at my ELO level 700 to 1000, they have no idea. This is a very, they think it's a weird opening, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, because some of your opponents will think that you are very good and they may get scared of you, but then some opponents will think that you are a complete moron because you are putting, like you're developing this knight here. They might think this guy doesn't know how to play chess, so they may get cocky or overconfident, and either way it helps you. So at this point, my opponent, he tried to get another defender for his knight, so he moves this here. So now he has this one, he has this queen, two people guarding his knight, but as you can see, I have got 3 attackers. I have my queen, I have my pony, I have my juicer. So now I get this guy out here just to kick his queen. I'm kind of dominating here, and at this point I'm not sure why this guy, he thought maybe he was trying to exchange the queens. I guess that was the idea. So he just gives me a check, but this is really not going to make any difference. He hops his pony here, trying to do some tactics, but it was not going to work because I was always going to take it and give him a check. And at this point, he has to move his king, which he did, and then I jumped my other pony, gave him a second check. The king moves again, and now I get my queen out of the attack from this pony. So at this point you can see the evaluation bar is saying +10, so I'm totally dominating here. Now my opponent tried to do a counter attack, gave me a check, but that was really kind of a lame move, so I was able to neutralize that. And at this point you can see I have all my minor pieces here attacking his king, and his king is kind of totally exposed. So I take his rook and he takes my pony. I bring my juicer back. Stockfish thinks that was a mistake, but my thought process was, let's start just exchanging pieces because I am up materially. So I got this here. He takes my juicer. I bring my queen here, and at this point the king is very vulnerable. So my goal is to just exchange all the pieces and basically go for the checkmate. Now this pawn over here is hanging, but my opponent did not take advantage of that. He tried to attack my queen, and I got here. Now I get a question mark here, so this was not the best move. Fisher wanted me to come here, so that's what Stockfish is recommending, but I didn't see that, so I come here. The king is now on the run. I bring my queen back. I castle here. My goal was to get my 2 rooks in action and basically checkmate him. So I get my rook. At this point the king is trying to defend, but not really, and it was pretty easy at this point. This is not the most optimal way to checkmate the king. I'm sure there was faster way to checkmate the king, but I just wanted to I wanted to not make any blunder, so I went the long way. And like for example here, this juicer was bothering me, so I was like, I want to push this guy away, and then I exchanged his juicer with my pony. Again, the idea was to just simplify things. And now since his rook is also gone, so it should be very easy for me. I just got both my rooks here, and then it was pretty easy, and a checkmate. So the end game was obviously not all that interesting, but the point I want to make is that in the opening, if I come here, right, once I pinned his knight here, from this point onward, he was in a lot of trouble, and this largely happened because in this opening I get my Pegasus knight here, and that allows the queen diagonal and the bishop diagonal, these 2 diagonals open, and that allows me to do this, which is bring my queen here, bring my bishop here, pin his knight, and also get this other pony, hop it from here to here, and put a lot of pressure on his pony. And that's the idea of Pegasus opening. It's very powerful. And the other thing you can do in Pegasus opening is you can create a battery where you can have your queen and bishops lined up here, and you can attack the castle. So that's another line that can be done. You can study all this on Pegasus chess. He has a bunch of videos where he explains the philosophy of this opening. But for somebody like me, 700 ELO chess player, I think this is a new opening. It's very obscure. Odds are your opponent will not know what the hell you are doing, and you can really trap them. So in this game, I really enjoyed this game because I got an upper hand from the beginning, and I just took advantage of that overwhelming positional advantage, converted it into material advantage, and this was a very satisfying win. So let me know what you guys thought about this game. If you saw any mistakes or if you think I could have done a better job, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.